how poorly EA
EA
is
has
handling this
responded. Let's
situation
see.
so far. 2 responses to hashtag CFB play don't pay, and we'll talk about it. This is all because they quietly implemented microtransactions into single player modes while removing features that were in previous games, so you might be more incentivized to spend some money. By this point, the relationship is
They've
gone.
been
I
doing
feel like I
that.
got cheated on. I will never work with EA Sports again, even if I am still playing games at 69 years old. You will never see an early capture out of me or a partnership with them. I am very upset with how all of
It
this
is
is
what it
playing
is,
out. I
bro.
don't like the way that they're responding, and we're going to touch on everything in this video, but at first,
GTA
I do
6
think
coming
that
out.
this
Ain't
makes
nobody
me
worry
so
about
proud
EA
of everyone
in
at
about the
EA
next
level
2
in this
years.
community, because for the very first time, EA has shown that they are willing to cave. It was the smallest little bit possible, but if we keep using our voice, I think we can get this game in the right direction. The reason I am taking as strong of a stance as I am as well is because this is a very pivotal moment for us gamers in the experiences that we want to see in the future. Before we cover and talk about how EA's responded so far, though,
Let's
I
see
do
what
want to
EA
give
got to
credit to
say,
the Mike
man.
Straw article because he came out yesterday and wrote a really interesting piece about all of what's happening and maybe why it is going in that direction and why we should be worried as gamers, even outside college football 27. As you'd expect, the decision for stuff like this didn't come from the core team who is responsible for the game. So that goes back to what I was saying. Don't go after these devs. I don't believe that a lot of them would be involved in a decision like this. And he even says many guys that were working on it knew about this implementation for months. They were livid. The player response that has happened from the community was
I bet they
expected. While I
was.
was worried it would be the loudest it's ever been, it definitely has been the loudest. We have been very vocal. I am very proud of everybody. But the same sources say it likely won't result in much, and EA is just waiting for things to blow over. That's why I said you can't just stop now once they give us the smallest little crumb. Another thing I found very interesting in this Mike Straw article was sources tell him EA has been looking at ways to add more monetization options to all games and franchises in its portfolio. He claims even future single-player only titles will have more monetization options implemented. So that's where I see this, and it might not be just a college football 27 issue. This could be something that carries over to Madden or all the other titles that they do. In my opinion, that is what makes something like this so challenging, because we have to be able to convince EA that this entire pathway that they're most likely wanting to move towards is not the right direction, at least for specific titles like the college football one especially, where your player base, you're just not meeting the needs of your player base here. This is not something that anybody was asking for, and I just don't understand the direction still. It makes me so disappointed, even more frustrated and mad the longer that they seem to not think it's a major issue. Then they made the decision that yesterday, instead of just putting out a statement themselves, they're going to convey that messaging through creators putting it out, which I just don't like how you go about that to avoid the backlash. But we're just going to go over what was said in that and then what they said today. I mean, we're going to briefly just touch on this first one since there's more info now. But yesterday,
Whoever going through EA with that, bro, I wish you the best of luck, bro.
is true, but faster progression was removed from online and offline Dynasty. So both of those statements are technically true, but with the progression being removed from Dynasty, it is still changing that whole landscape of coach levels. They're just saying that normal operates the same as it did in 26. Another thing in here is they have named the microtransactions. They are Coach XP accelerators. They're available only in Online Dynasty, and that even makes me think, if they're not in Offline Dynasty, why can't you have all the fastest settings available to progress your coach, especially
Exactly,
since normal
bro.
is way too slow on the game, in my opinion. Another thing I've been seeing online is your progression is really slowed down.
And they purposely doing that. They're purposely making it slower for you to actually just, oh man, I can't take it no more. Let me go ahead and just whip out my wallet and go ahead and pay. It's like, nah, bro. Like, bro, they just making the game just not fun no more, bro. Like, already single player mode. It has nothing to do with online. Bro, just let us play the game without microtransactions, bro. It's just simple as that, bro. That should be an optional type of thing.
If you sim games versus play them, which is another thing I don't agree with, because you're forcing people to play the game in a specific way. And that's what we're really going to dive into on Road to Glory. EA is kind of directing players in the direction that they want them to play the game, instead of that open experience that college football games have always been, like creating your own world, your own universe that you want to be a part of, that you want to control everything going on.
Facts.
We want more settings. We want more options. And instead, they're taking them away. That has never been the direction I've believed the game is going in, or what it seemed like it was going to go into. They also just briefly mentioned that the XP sliders are not available in Road to Glory. They were in College Football 26. They're just not there this year.
Exactly.
And we're going to get over to their response today, because this really continues to double down on about everything that they're saying besides one thing. What it seems like they were going to do was just continue to monitor community feedback like it says on there, and then everybody that has worked with them in the past or that still works with them came out and made a statement basically about how they don't agree with this. They don't agree with the direction. So many amazing videos out there that you all can watch. It's really commendable all those guys are using
Yeah, you
voice,
cook.
but I also have to say this for another time. Do not be attacking other creators, especially if someone isn't as vocal. That's not where you should be directing your anger, and that's going to get nothing accomplished. We don't need to be beefing
Facts.
in the community. Direct it in the right places. We have really used our voice, but this all comes to the response EA put out themselves today. And it starts with a win. They also addressed that some of the dynasty bugs are going to be patched that were in there, which is a good thing. I will always commend the dev team. I still like the game they put out. I want to play the game. I still want to film Hawaii,
Facts, yeah.
but I need to touch on this first, and I just can't work with them in any official regard. I just can't agree with anything that's gone down, especially with how this is being handled. So the one small
I feel you on that one, bro.
I talked about the coach XP sliders being in there to control your experience. Well, they're adding one of them back, but they're renaming it. So this is the slower of the two fast settings last year. They've renamed it to fastest, and then they have a couple of these others. These are irrelevant. I don't know if it was 2x XP or if it was 3x XP, but that's what fastest used to be. Now it's a bit slower. Still somewhat of the smallest win because they heard, but what it feels like is they just put a Band-Aid on, and they're like, okay, guys, that's it. Shut up. We listened. But what
they ain't really fixing nothing.
And even in this regard, where they're really trying to constrict with how your files go, and the microtransactions are still in there, it's a major issue. They say after this update hits, let us know how the new settings feel. We'll be looking closely at your feedback on this one. Well, you better be looking closely because I'm not happy with it, and 95% of people are not happy with it either. What we're really not happy with is what is happening to our Road to Glory mode. There is so little freedom there versus Dynasty even. It is insane. They are dictating your entire experience. They are crafting it perfectly how they want, and then there is just this floating option where you could purchase points. You don't have to spend your hard-earned money here, but it's just an option, and they are going to punish you if you want to change up the experience that you have. So players are rewarded more XP by playing on higher difficulty settings. That means if you are a 10-year-old kid, maybe you're 50, maybe you're just somebody that doesn't want to be locked into the game, you're going to gain less XP, making it harder for your player to progress than somebody that is playing on Heisman. Now, they claim depending on your starting recruit level and performance, you can generally expect to reach mid to high 90s and all this. They're trying to just say you can still get to 99, maybe only have like 4 or 5 games with it, but you could get there. Personally, I don't really know about all of that. All I did was experience my time with tight end, which I had a fun time doing. I just don't agree with any of this as a decision. I also think my experience as a tight end is invalid because I went for like 3,000 receiving yards and won the Heisman. I might have gotten to like an 85 overall doing that as a sophomore. I'm not really sure, but I was going off so much, doing well in all my practices. Of course, I was going to be rewarded and be able to upgrade, and it was on Heisman. If you play on a lower difficulty, or if you turn off wear and tear, it'll reduce the XP gained once again to offset the gameplay advantage. This is the phrasing that just sets me off because this is an offline Road to Glory mode.
Exactly.
Why the fuck are we worried about offsetting the gameplay advantage? Read between the lines. We all know what the actual reason is.
It's offline.
We know where this is headed in the future if things don't change, if things are not reverted. It is just unbelievable to me that if you want to control your experience and play without wear and tear on, if you want to play on an easier difficulty, you are punished for it. You won't get as much XP. It'll be harder to progress your player. And in fact, I think it should be flipped. If you're playing on an easier difficulty, in previous titles like on 14, I think you actually gained more XP. It was easier to upgrade your player, and it was a lot more of a fun experience. It's just like, why are we worried about offsetting gameplay advantages in an offline single player mode?
Offline mode.
It seems like they're just trying to wait all this out. Give us back as little as possible. Not expect any outrage or disagreement with it. And each time that they give a little bit more, then everyone stops caring as much. They're like, okay, they're actually trying to do something. They're doing as little as they can. Road to Glory.
Bro, they trying to gear us for next year. When they start implementing the offline mode and then they start adding in this, you know what I'm saying? Y'all seen the videos of the AI and how they think about going about it where it's like an open world type of thing with college football, like walk around the stadium and the campus and all that. Like, if they implement that, bro, they it's for to be even worse. So I feel like they trying to condition us until when they actually really implement that open world type of stuff. But that's neither here nor there. You never know how they're gonna go about the game next year, but true. At the end of the day, man, EA still greedy.
Without the XP sliders, if you're going to get punished for turning wear and tear on or off, if you have to play on a higher difficulty to get more XP, does that not tell you the direction that this is all going in? It really feels like we are on the brink of a 2K-like optimization that down the line...
2K. That's what I'm just saying. 2K.
...builder that they have in Road to Glory this year and compare it to theirs. There are cap breakers like there is in 2K, except at least in 2K, when you get a cap breaker, you don't have to also pay to buy the staff. Another huge difference is Road to Glory is offline. Is that not clear enough? Road to Glory is an offline experience. It's not even like an online Dynasty. There is no option to be online with Road to Glory, and we still have microtransactions. We're still limiting the player experience. It just baffles me. I don't understand. There is just nothing that I have seen, even behind the scenes the last 2 years, that would make me think they would take a step in a direction like this. It's why it's caught me so off guard. It's why I say it feels like I'm going through a breakup, because I just got like a complete 180 done on me. Now, I also have to give some credit to the community. There have been some very funny things that have come out of it, but it's not a funny situation. It's really upsetting for us not to feel like our voices are being heard, that they're just going to do as little as they can.
Oh, man.
Or the voices get drained out. What I've realized through this is...
It's funny, dog.
I can just never partner with EA Sports again. If I'm going to have a prominent voice in the college football community, there will still be friends of mine that are going to be able to do stuff with them. They can still get voices heard, but there also needs to be somebody on the outside that nobody would ever question, wouldn't just speak their mind on things. Don't get me wrong, you can still be in the EA Creator Network and speak your mind on so many different things. You have to really cross a line for them just to decide not to work with you, but I feel so betrayed with how all of this went down. I just can't ever go back to doing that. It is literally...
Who would, though?
That's why I said it in
the come on.
There's been one girl that has done me worse, but the rest of them haven't felt as painful as this has. I genuinely just cannot believe how all of this went down. I needed to know this was in the game if I was going to be playing it. There's no way that I get to hear about all the new features and everything coming besides this. I strongly doubt they will, but EA could literally be perfect from here on out, and the trust is broken forever. I will never work with them again. I would feel kind of offended in previous years when people would say that I was a shill, would say that I was neutralized, that I wouldn't speak out enough. I was enjoying the games. I was having fun. I'm still having fun with 27, which is why I want to get back to filming, but I am starting to understand why as well it's important to just be completely separate. Even if they reverted all the changes and listened to the community, I will be very happy for that, but I still want to stay on the outside. There's also probably the question of, are you just not going to play the game at all? And I think I've already referred to it a couple of times in this video, but I'm still going to play College Football 27. I've never had an issue with the actual game itself. I have an issue with the direction that it is headed in. It's not like I want to punish you all, either my viewers, by just never giving you content again. You're expecting it. You've gotten used to watching it. And just because EA sucks at making this game now, just because I don't like the direction it's going, I'm still going to give you something to enjoy. I'll also be teaching you how to be successful in the game as well and still find ways to have fun without using microtransactions or buying all their additional bonuses and stuff. The hashtag...
Exactly, because I ain't buying it.
Don't pay. And what that means is don't pay. Do not use any of these microtransactions in Dynasty and Road to Glory. That's another way I feel like we can be heard. If nobody is using those features, then they won't continue to double down, to triple down, to add more microtransactions to those single-player modes. But if a lot of people are using them, they're just going to see the money and keep heading in that direction. It's not like Ultimate Team. It's not the same community that Ultimate Team reaches, where there are these whales that will just money. It doesn't really make sense to even have microtransactions, especially in the way that they're implemented in Dynasty and Road to Glory. I think the last thing I want to say is just
it don't make no sense, bro. It's offline.
At EA, listen to your community.
We on their head. We on their neck, man.
Than the little bits of extra money that you think you're going to get, because people buy this game for Dynasty and Road to Glory. They don't buy it to also buy microtransactions in the modes.
Exactly, bro. Leave that to Madden, bro.
Grind with more microtransactions. That's what it felt like this whole direction was going in towards me, and that's why I've taken the stance I have, and I continue to take it over and over until we hopefully see you revert it.
Taco Bell's Love Spot.
Man, listen here, bro. EA, bro, they just greedy, bro. At the end of the day, bro, there's nothing we can do. Microtransactions gonna be here And it's gonna stay here if people just keep on buying and buying and buying. If we sit back and we stop buying it, I bet they'll stop. But until then, it's gonna keep happening, bro. These Ultimate Team guys is killing it. Just every game is microtransaction out, man. It's nothing we can do. But yeah, man, EA done responded, man. They doubling down and they ain't turning no corners, man. But that's what it is, man. I'm gonna holler at y'all boys on the next one, man.